Hello guys, how's everybody doing? Hopefully you are having a great day, and welcome to the channel. I do appreciate you guys, and thanks you guys for subscribing to the channel. And if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, and I do welcome you, and I would encourage you to subscribe so that you can continuously to get updates on what's coming out and what's new. And I definitely appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you guys for the support. I definitely appreciate every single one of you guys. Guys, once again, welcome. Today we'll be going, let me just explain to you what this is. This is my web page. This is my link. This is my number that's up here. This is the company that I brokered with, that I partner with. And this is with regards to Medicare Part B. As you guys can see, I'm also going to touch a little bit on the end of Part A. I'm also going to put the link down below this video, and so you guys will be able to see it. You guys are more than welcome to to leave comments, and don't forget to share and like and subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate you guys. So yesterday, guys, I did went over into discussing, Medicare Part B for the 2020 year. But however, I did realize at the end that I left some stuff out, which is the hospice care. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about hospice care. What does it mean? So guys, hospice care is one of those that must meet Medicare requirement. Includes a doctor certified of terminally ill, meaning that you can't just decide to have hospice care just because you feel that that's something that you need. You need doctor's recommendation that's gonna say, and actually indeed, that's something that you need. You need to have your doctor, your physician, that's going to allow you to say, that's going to allow and put on documentation that's something that you need. And yes, it is all but limited. What that means is, some may not be limited, and some may be limited. It all depends on the services that you need, as far as core insurance and for outpatient drugs and things in that nature. And when it comes to Medicare, there's always going to be some kind of co-payment or co-insurance. It all depends. Every case is different, guys. And I gotta tell you, I've seen some cases, like I said, where it's all that's what it is, and some other cases where it's not. The other thing is, Part A also covers your first 3 pints of blood. Your first 3 pints of blood up to 100% of approved, and then after that, it's on you. And as I mentioned, Medicare is a 80/20 type of program, type of insurance, and so that's pretty much what it is, guys. Why don't I jump into Medicare 2020 Part B for you guys, so that we could get going into understanding the other part of Medicare Part B. Okay, and just allow me one brief second. I'm gonna move this up a little bit so that we could actually see it. All right, perfect. So guys, Medicare Part B is medical insurance that covers physician services, outpatient cares, and tests and supplies per calendar year. Meaning that every calendar year there's a calculations for this, and that allows folks that deals with their deductibles and things in that nature. So an annual deductible, there's always been an annual deductible. This all depends. Oh, excuse me, it all depends, you know what I mean, on the year. They do fluctuate from year to year, so it's never really the same. Like I said, Medicare is one of those type of things that change every year. It's never, the same. There's always some kind of little changes, some sort of little tweak, all right? Guys, stay with me, and so we could get through this, and then we're gonna get through it. You're gonna get a full understanding of it. So your annual deductible, after incurred expenses, after all you have met all other requirement. So we're talking about you still have to pay $198 to for the year. That's how much it costs for 2020, which is $198 that you got to spend out of pocket. And apart from that, guys, we got medical expenses when it comes to physician services for inpatients and outpatients, surgical services, and other things. So, meaning that when you go to see your doctor, when you go see your physicians, when you have to be referred to have surgery done, or if you needed some kind of therapy or some sort of test diagnostic or anything like that. So that's what they're talking about when they say medical expenses. And remember, I said Medicare is a 80/20 rule. So meaning that 80% of that is covered. 80% of it is covered, and 20% of it is yours. So let's just say out of $100, we're gonna use small numbers. You know what I mean? $100 bill. Medicare is gonna pay $80. You're gonna pay $20. $1,000 bill. You're gonna pay $800. And then you're gonna pay $200. Small numbers so that we could get the gist of things, so that we could see how it actually works. But like I said, guys, don't worry. There's ways that, to help alleviate that 20%. I will get to touch based on that to you guys at the end. So the one good thing is, at the end of this video, I'm gonna tell you guys what's ways that, to kind of alleviate yourself from that heavy bill of 20%. $200 is still a lot. Is still a lot of money. Even $20 is still a lot of money if you don't need to be if you don't need to pay that money. If there's a way that you could get help so that you don't pay that 20% of that copay or co-insurance. So there's ways that we could look at this at the end of this video. So bear with me for a quick second, all right? So excess doctor charge. So let me explain to you guys what is excess doctor charge. As you can see, Medicare does not cover that. It's zero, which is right here. It's right here. All right, guys. So excess doctor charges. So this is what this means. When you want to go see a doctor, and for your personal reasons, say you wanted a special test done or whatever the case is, and they check with your medical insurance, and they do not cover it, and you decided to say, what, I still want that test done. The doctor definitely not going to refuse you getting a test done, but however, you be responsible for that bill 100%. So be careful with that, guys. Be careful with that, because Medicare will not pay for it. Medicare will not pay not 1 cent for that, because it is excess doctor charge, and that's something that you decided to do on your own. It wasn't necessary, and it's not covered by your plan, and you decided to go ahead and do something that was totally of free will to you. So the cost is all the cost is to you at 100%, that you'll be responsible to paying it. So clinical laboratory services, that's things that's necessary. Let's just say, if you needed something done, if you needed something to, if you need some kind of testing done, whatever that it may be, if you want to see your doctor and you're diabetic, they want to check your sugar, and because you're having complication or whatever, I'm just, hypothetically going on this, okay? So these are the things that I'm talking about, that, that's clinically laboratory services. So they will pay for things like that once it's approved. You know what I mean? That's why it's also said generally 100% of approved amount. Generally, that's the key word, generally, usually. Let me rephrase that to saying usually it's 100% of approved amount that's covered. And of course, if it's 100%, then you won't have anything to pay. So as you guys can see, it's not all bad, it's not all good, but you know what I mean. It is services, and if you need those kind of services, of course, you got to pay a little something. All right. So here's the other thing, guys. So we're talking about home health care. If you guys remember, in part A, there was hospice and all these other things. So now let's just say you need home health care, right? If it is approved that you need home health care, and that's something that you need to keep your style of living, that could help you throughout your day-to-day basis. So at that point, if it's approved, 100% approved amount, then yes, then it's all fine. But if it's also 80% that's approved, then you also will be left with the remaining of 20%, which is why it's saying that 100% approved amount and 80% approved of the amount durable medical equipment. So I apologize, guys. Excuse me. So 80% of the approved medical equipment. So yes, it'll be approved for 100%, and then 80% of that, which will be approved for medical equipment and things in that nature. So if you needed something, like for example, you might see folks that needs a shower handle or things like that, or special shoes, or things in that nature, or a seat, so that they could seat and bathe themselves and things like that, things in that nature. So that's what they're talking about. And for that 100%, of course, you have nothing. But for that 80% of the equipment, you still have that 20% of co-insurance or co-payment to be dealt with. All right. So now, outpatient hospital treatment. Outpatient hospital treatment, a lot of folks don't get that. That's the part where, when you go to your doctor, when you go see your doctor, when you go see your physician and things like that, which is outpatient hospital treatment, when you're not bound into a hospital or to a facility. That's pretty much what we're talking about here. Medicare payment, excuse me, Medicare payment to hospital based on the outpatient procedure and payment rates, meaning that there's a rate chart. There's a rate chart that they go by. Meaning, is this service on this rate chart? The thing with Medicare, guys, let me tell you guys. So let's just say, which it has been somewhat of a complication. Let's just say that a procedure that costs $5,000 and Medicare declare to say I'm only going to pay $3,000. The physician at that point have two things: either to accept Medicare rule and accept that $3,000 payment, or reject it. They don't, meaning that they don't want to deal with Medicare. They don't take Medicare, and then you have to pay out of pocket. At that point, there's a couple of ways to deal with things. There's a couple of ways to handle things, which I will cover at the end of this video for you guys. So, like I said, sit tight. Don't worry. I will explain some other things to you guys, and don't forget, Medicare is also broken down into 4 different categories: Part A, Part B, Part C, and D. And we're only covering the first two for right now. I will be making videos on Part C and D for you guys, so you guys will get a full overview on how things actually works, on how things actually runs when it comes to Medicare. Okay. So that's the thing with that, and you also have to be careful with that, because if something is not covered, or a doctor does not does not accept Medicare, you have to be careful of saying, okay, you know what, is this am I ready to take on that responsibility for that bill? So that's the one thing with that. Okay. So guys, now we back to the blood thing. As I mentioned to you before, the first 3 pints of blood is free. It's free. It's covered under Part A. Now Part B, 80% after that. That's after that. That's after the first 3 pints of blood. So 80% of that is covered. So if you needed more blood or anything like that, you know what I'm saying. So 80% is covered of the approved amount after. Okay, yes, after the first 3 pints of blood. So they reverse it for me. Okay, that's what down here is saying. They just reverse it for me. I talk about the first 3 pints first, but they talk about it last, which is no problem, perfectly fine. So as you see under you pay is the first 3 pints of blood, and then 20% of approved amount for additional pints. And that's what they're saying. If you needed more blood, if you needed, more of it, so at that point, you'll be responsible for 20% of the approved amount from for whatever it costs. All right, same scenario. If it's $100, you're looking at you about to pay $20. If it's $1,000, then you're looking at $200. Same rule, same principle. Just so you guys are kind of getting it, so it can be clear. So, guys, what is a way that you could avoid? Well, let me not say avoid. Let me not use the word avoid. At least minimize the cost. What is ways that you could minimize the cost? So there is several ways that you can minimize the cost. You could look into things like, for example, if you ever needed help, I am here to help you. I'll be more than happy, more than welcome to help you navigating through this, because this is very complex. It's very complicated. It's not an easy matter. It's not an easy subject. It's a very complicated subject. So ways to alleviate some of that is, to Medicare supplement. Right, Medicare supplement, which is a plan that you get to use. There's different plans of it. There's different levels of it. So that you won't have this, some that you won't have to deal with no cost. There's all sorts of different levels, but we're not gonna get into that kind of sort of things, because this is not the video for it. But I will be making videos about that as well. So, you could look into Medicare supplements, you could look into Medicare Advantage plans, and, there's all different sorts of plans, and, that you could look into to help you with this kind of, with this 20%. Even with this, with the $198, there's ways to navigate around it. And, like I said, there's many different avenues to look at. It's never a one way sliced, or one shoe fits all type things. There's many different ways to deal with this. There's many different avenues to go into getting this taken care of. So, guys, here's another thing. for those folks that have assets, that have money, that have that have a lot of assets, or that was investors, that was whatever the case is. In order to keep your asset, if you were ever to become critically ill because you are on Medicare and rather selling off your assets, you would need a plan in action before that actually happens. So, which is why it's always good to talk to somebody that knows. Like I said, guys, and I'm always gonna say this: I am the best at what I do. And if there's somebody that's out there that's better than me, I really don't know that person. And truthfully, guys, I'm not being cocky. I'm just very confident of what I do. I'm very, very confident of what I do. I am not cocky at all. I'm just confident. So if that's the case, you need to sit with someone that knows exactly the ropes, that knows exactly how to deal with the ins and out when it comes to things like this. So that when if something like this was to ever happen, that you know how to take care of yourself. You know exactly what to do. All your ducks is in row, so you know exactly what's about to happen and how to deal with this kind of situation. So, guys, listen, if there's any questions, definitely leave it down below. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions for you. If you have any kind of questions at all, definitely let me know. I'm gonna put the link down below in the description box so that you guys could easily go to my page and get in touch with me if you have anything that you would like for me to help you on. And I definitely appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys for being here with me. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed to the channel. Those of you that's already subscribed, thank you and welcome. I definitely appreciate you, and continue to watch, and invite your friends and families to subscribe so that they can get free information, which is what this channel is all about. And I definitely appreciate every single one of you guys. Okay, and don't forget to share the video. Thank you guys, and have a great day.